Hi guys, this is Larry here, and today I'm doing the part 2 of the Dungeon 7 walkthrough. You've been waiting for this a while probably. And we were left on the 10th dungeon, the 9th Nun's Call dungeon. It's a dungeon without fires yet, and this dungeon is a problematic dungeon for most people. And I used to try it on it too because I misplaced the magic spell, but it doesn't matter really. You don't need it to get to Dungeon 8. I prefer going the top line if you want to just get to Dungeon 8, but if you want to get those 390 fires, I recommend this line. Dropping your druid and Spear Mage Thunder God on the top, and then Atlantic Core on whichever side your heroes are going, and dropping Pumpkin Duke right after that. And that most of the time gives you a really clear line, and I'm even saving Restoration here. If you would have had Paladin, you could have dropped Guardian Angel right there when Ninja came in and used your Restoration a bit later when I used Guardian Angel. But as you can see, it's not really a hard dungeon if you use this line. It probably requires a take or two, but once you get it right, you get it right. So let's go into the next dungeon. It is 14k 250 resources. This dungeon, it looks really simple because it looks really straight line. It's not a straight line, but you are dealing with it like it is a straight line. You're saving your tank to take down the Paladin right there. At the moment, your heroes take out the camp. Because Paladin can be a really bitchy hero if he doesn't die quick enough, so you don't want your Druid, Spear Mage or Thunder God taking aggro from the Paladin. It is a high level Paladin, so he still could take out your heroes really quickly. And you can actually save Pumpkin Duke for as long as you think you can save him. I recommend dropping him right about here, and this way your Pumpkin Duke stays in line and your Spear Mage or whichever heroes get the buff right in time. If he is revitalized, of course you can drop him a little bit earlier, but this way you can make sure he doesn't wander off too quickly and your heroes get enough time to take out the middle heroes. If you don't have Spear Mage or Thunder God, it's not an easy dungeon, and I recommend actually using Pumpkin Duke and probably Frenzy too. But anyway, let's go on to the next one. This is 14.4, and this is the first time I'm doing this dungeon because I went top line to go to Dungeon 8, and I'm doing this dungeon just for you. And it's not really a tough dungeon because all the heroes are in the middle. You can just drop all your heroes, they pop straight in, and you can use Guardian Angel right there, and from there it's not really a problem. Because I have Pumpkin Duke, I don't need to use Frenzy, but I recommend Frenzy right there if you don't have Pumpkin Duke or not using Pumpkin Duke, because you actually want to get through really quickly. Aris Fervor would do too probably, but Ars Frenzy is always the better spell, of course, for that. And as you can see from there, it's really a piece of cake. All heroes are going where they have to. It's just practically mop-up time. Let's go on to the next dungeon. We left at 14.4, which means that 14.5.5 is the next one. It's again a skull or dungeon without fires, and as I explained already, the top line probably is easier to go through. This dungeon though isn't really a hard one. You can drop all your heroes right here. I'm not using Thunder God here. I don't know why exactly, but I just wanted to use Cupid because Cupid is awesome, and leaving him out of any video feels like a shame. But it's just dropping on the top, and what happens is your heroes will path either left or either right. They can split up, I guess, but as soon as any hero comes in the middle and you think they are in danger, you can just use Restoration and Guardian Angel to the feel of it, because most of the time it's not really tough to take them out, especially when you're using Thunder God, and especially when you drop Frenzy when they are close together. The next one, I believe, is the 14-7. We're almost there, actually, because the last non-skull dungeon right there is the dungeon you need to get to the dungeon 8. This one is the second last, and this one you actually need to do. It's not the easiest dungeon, but if you use this line, you can really take care of it quite easily. You drop your tank and run the rest of your heroes. If you don't have Atlantic Core with Revitalize, I recommend dropping Guardian Angel. If you don't have any tank at all, I recommend dropping Pumpkin Duke and Guardian Angel. So Guardian Angel, drop Pumpkin Duke, and then the rest, because Pumpkin Duke will be taking aggro and at least being on his way to a double buff, meaning you can actually still take care of Spirit Mage and Ninja really fast right there. The alternative line is probably going on top, dropping a tank and Druid on the camp, Thunder God on one of the towers and Spirit Mage on the other tower, leaving Pumpkin Duke or any other hero as a reserve to support one of your wingers. And that's actually more the route if you aren't buff heavy or don't have any good tank or something. But for me, this line is the best, and the top line going Druid and tank in the middle camp and Thunder God and Spear Mage on the wings right there is probably a viable line too. I'm not showing it right now, but it's a viable line, I think. So let's go on to the true last dungeon of Dungeon 7. This one you need to complete to move on to Dungeon 8, and it's a really tricky dungeon because you need to be very, very accurate with your magic. If you are accurate with your magic, it's really easy. You see those 4 cannons on top there? They are protected by a double layer, and they offer you, your Thunder God, the opportunity to go off a couple of times, sometimes taking out Ninja, sometimes taking out another hero, sometimes just removing buildings out of the way. It's not really of a problem if he only takes out buildings, but if he takes out Ninja, you can drop your tank and drop Spear Mage on the bottom at the Paladin there, and drop Guardian Angel in the middle. If he doesn't take out Ninja, you need to drop your tank and Spear Mage on the Ninja. But be sure to drop your Guardian Angel at the time you actually think it's needed, and then 2 seconds before, because in this dungeon I experienced you actually are needing it ahead of time, because I don't know what my personal problem is, but I've dropped my Guardian Angel 3 times in a row, a second too late, and lost Pumpkin Duke or lost Druid or lost Thunder God. And when you lose one of your heroes in this dungeon, at the moment the first hero aggroes on them, you are probably not getting the 50%, and if you do, you are quite lucky. But I don't think you can really hope for that. So let's go on to the skull dungeons. These dungeons are not the hardest skull dungeons, and if you aren't able to farm dungeon 8 yet, I think this is a good stop in between, because they offer a damn lot of experience. They don't offer much more shards than, say, Dungeon 5 Skull 1 or Dungeon 6 Skull 1, but they do offer you the possibility to get a really good amount of experience. And they are both designed quite well to be able to farm them. This dungeon you can just drop your Druid, Thunder God, Spear Mage on the complete left and just wait for them to finish off anything. And I recommend dropping a tank at it too, because there are a lot of towers firing at them, and tank can be really useful there. As you can see, I dropped my Guardian Angel a tiny bit too late there for my Pumpkin Duke, but most of the time you don't need to worry about that spot right there, because your heroes can take them out in time, because as you can see there is a really big buffer between the dropping point and the heroes of the dungeon. So most of the time that should be okay. As you can see, 6k experience is almost as much as Dungeon 8's Call 11 offers you. But it's easier to do, probably not much easier, but I think it's more consistent to do. Then the last Skull dungeon is an easy dungeon too. It's a tiny bit harder than the second dungeon in the second Skull in Dungeon 7, but as you can see, you can choose 2 points. You can either drop everything at Spear Mage right there and hope you can take out Spear Mage in just a second, or you can drop at the complete right this time and hope you can take out each of the heroes in time, so you don't have to use magic on those spots. What is the advantage of this dungeon is that it doesn't have much arrow towers at the start, so you probably won't need a tank and can use more DPS or area of effect heroes. I have to use Guardian Angel here when the ninja comes in, and I probably need to use Restoration on my Spear Mage, because Spear Mage is really low because I dropped my Guardian Angel 2 seconds too late. And Spear Mage is taking aggro of 2 arrow towers at the same time. I don't think Druid can out-heal that, so I'm using Restoration here, and Druid just healed in time, so I actually didn't need to use Restoration, but I still did. And as you can see, only Ninja was the hero that came in and was threatening. The rest isn't there anymore when my heroes arrive, so it's not a really hard skull dungeon, and this one actually gives damn lot of experience. It even gives more than Dungeon 8 Skull 11 if you're going for the experience. So this was Dungeon 7, the whole dungeon, and thanks for watching. Be sure to share and subscribe, and hope you enjoyed, and see you soon.